Namaskar. I am Dr. Aarti Chaudhary, Assistant Professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology at Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you once again in this 12-week course titled History of Science and Technology in Ancient India from Harappan Civilization to 7th century CE. Today we are going to discuss Module 8 and Lecture 4. The title of Module 8 is Healthcare and Surgery in Ancient India, and the title of Lecture 4 is Medicine in the Buddhist Text. Before we start, let us have a quick recap of the previous lectures of this module. Till now, we have discussed about Charak and Charak Samhita, Susrut and Susrut Samhita, as well as Vagbhatt and his text Ashtanga Hriday and Ashtanga Sangrah. Now we are moving towards the medicine in the Buddhist text. First, the learning objectives of this particular lecture. The first learning objective of this lecture is to study the text of medicine focused on Buddhism. The second learning objective is to discuss the core principle of the topic, and the third learning objective is to understand the holistic approach of the Buddhist medicine. In this lecture, we are going to discuss these points: Buddhist text on medicine, core principle of this medicine, Buddhist monastic medicine, Buddhist text and medical content, and transmission and influence beyond India of Buddhist medicine. Buddhist medicine in India was deeply rooted in the ethical and philosophical teaching of the Buddha, emphasizing compassion, non-violence and the elevation of suffering. Health and healing were considered integral to spiritual practice, and the Buddha himself was often portrayed as a great physician. The Buddhist monastic code Vinay Pitak contains detailed medical knowledge and guidelines for monks regarding hygiene, diet and the treatment of illness. Monasteries served not only as spiritual centers but also as early hospitals where monks practiced and taught medicine. Influenced by Ayurveda, Buddhist medicine incorporated herbal remedies, surgical practices, dietary regulation and holistic approaches to well-being. The Four Noble Truths were sometimes interpreted in medical terms: diagnosis, dukh; cause, samuday; prognosis, nirodh; and treatment, mag, mirroring a physician's approach to disease. Now, key Buddhist text on medicine. Always sources are very important in terms to understand the reconstruction or the description of ancient India. Whether these sources are categorized into different parts like literary sources, archaeological sources and foreign accounts, but when we have both kind of sources, like we have literary sources, archaeological sources, and if luckily we found the travel accounts, then it is very good to understand that particular context, that particular theory in the contemporary time period. On the basis of these literary texts, we can imagine, we can find truth on the basis of these references. So, these literary texts are very important in order to understand the medicinal aspect in the Buddhist period. So, let us have discussed one by one the literary sources. First one is the Vinay Pitak, also known as the discipline basket. is one of the key component of the Buddhist canon and contains a wealth of information on health, hygiene and medical care, especially within the monastic community. It lays down detailed rules regarding proper diet, mealtime, conduct and personal cleanliness for monks, highlighting the importance of health in spiritual life. It also prescribes compassionate care for sick monks regardless of their status or seniority, reflecting the Buddhist value of equality and kindness. It also authorizes the use of basic natural remedies including herbal medicine, ghee, honey and water, warm water, which were widely accessible and beneficial for common ailments. Among the treatments allowed are 5 nourishing tonics, Panch Bhojanya, ghee, oil, honey, sugar and fish broth, each believed to support strength and recovery. Now, the next text is the Bhaishajya Guru Sutra, also known as the Medicine Buddha Sutra, is a central text in Mahayana Buddhism that centers around Bhaishajya Guru, the medicine Buddha. This scripture presents him as a radiant, compassionate figure who embodies the power of healing not only physical ailments but also spiritual and karmic affiliations. In Buddhism, the karmic affiliation, the karma factor and the disease is deeply elaborated, deeply described, because not only physical health is important, the karma factor is also important for the disease. So, this thing is very important in the terms to understand the medicine practices in Buddhism. Generally, the Buddhist text explained that if somebody suffering from any disease or suffering from any dukh, then he or she must be trapped in the karmic cycle. If they have done good karma, then the life will be happy, and if they have done bad karma, then they have to be pay with the disease, with the dukh, with the karmic factor and so many things. So, in Buddhist medicine, they explain deeply that not only physical hygiene, the mental hygiene, the opinion hygiene and the ideological hygiene is also very important for the good health. The medicine Buddha is often depicted as shining with a healing blue light, symbolizing both wisdom and the capacity of the heal suffering in all forms. The sutra emphasizes that true healing arises from ethical conduct, mental purity and spiritual devotion. It offers healing mantras, ritual verbs that practitioners can recite or perform to invoke the medicine Buddha's blessings. Importantly, it links healing closely to moral transformation, suggesting that by cultivating virtues such as generosity, patience and right speech, one can overcome disease and negative karma. Thus, the Bhaishajya Guru Sutra reflects a deeply holistic vision of healing, where curing the body is inseparable from purifying the mind and spirit. Now, the next text is Milinda Panha, the question of King Milinda. The Milinda Panha is a dialogue between King Milind and the monk Nagasena. It uses the analogy of the Buddha as a physician who cures suffering through wisdom and ethical living. Ashokan edicts contribution of Buddhist medicine. Emperor Ashok built hospitals and dispensaries for people and animals. He established herbal gardens and appointed medical officers Vaidya across his empire. His edicts promoted hygiene, clean water and animal welfare. He also spread Buddhist medicine through mission to Sri Lanka, Central Asia and the Hellenistic world. Hence, we can see again and again the Buddhist medicine focused on the hygiene of ideology, hygiene of mindset and hygiene of body. Now, Buddhist medicine a holistic healing system. We can understand it like this. The whole Buddhist medicine we can understand with this structure. The whole Buddhist medicine, like first one is 4 noble truth. The second one is monasteries as clinic, monasteries as clinic, and third one is healing practice. Okay, the Buddhist medicine, the holistic healing is based on basically 4 noble truth, monasteries, clinic and healing practice. Subdivision of this truth, like first noble truth is suffering, which is also called dukkha. Second is cause of illness, cause of illness, and third one is healing possible, healing possible, and fourth one is eightfold path. So, if there is some suffering regarding the any reason or any happening in the life, if there is some suffering, then healing is possible by the following the teaching of Buddha's theory, the eightfold path. Anyone can heal their problem with the following eightfold path. The second one is monastery as clinic. Let us discuss the sub point of this. This is considered as early hospitals, Second, it is useful for the meditation center or care. Third one is trained monks were there to just guide the all things, and fourth one is remedies or surgery. So, not only the monks were guided the whole things of any suffering, they also perform some kind of surgery, some kind of medicinal approach to take care the all things or to take care of any patient. Now, the third thing is healing practices. It have also sub points like herbal medicine, second is a diet and nutrition, third thing is mantra and ritual, and fourth thing is mind body balance. and the center of all these things is managed by Buddha, who is also considered as healer, of the suffering. So, on the basis of this structure, it is clear that in the Buddhist medicine, not only the monks were guided by the Buddha to just protect the uh, patient, as well as they provide some kind of medicine, they provide some kind of surgery activity to make healthy them, as well as the rituals, the mantra, the chanting and the discipline of daily life is also very important for the healthy and happy life, which is just mentioned in the Buddhist text. Now, moving forward, core principles of Buddhist medicine. Alleviation of suffering, dukh. At the heart of Buddhist medicine is the commitment to relieve suffering, align with the fundamental Buddhist goal of overcoming dukh or suffering. Illness, like all forms of suffering, is seen not merely as a physical problem, but as a disruption in the balance of body, mind and environment. Buddhist medicine treats both the symptom and the deeper cause of suffering, aiming to restore harmony and support the individual's journey towards health and spiritual well-being. Next point is holistic view of health. Buddhist medicine adopts a holistic approach that sees the mind and body as interconnected. It recognizes that mental states such as stress, anger or ignorance can lead the physical illness, and likewise a sick body can disturb the mind. Therefore, treatment often combines physical remedies with mental and spiritual practice such as meditation, ethical behavior and mindfulness to heal the whole person rather than just the disease. So, it is again and again mentioned in Buddhist texts, the combination, the understanding and the interconnection between the mind body is very important with the nature. Mind, body and nature, the interconnection of these three things is very important, and not only interconnection, the balanced behavior of daily life and the balanced connection with all these three things is very important to make ourselves healthy and happy. Compassion and ethical healing. Compassion, karuna, is a cornerstone of Buddhist medical ethics. The healer is expected to act out of genuine concern for the patient without selfish motives. Buddhist texts emphasize the importance of kindness, patience and a non-harming attitude in caregiving. The act of healing is not only a medical service, but a moral and spiritual duty where the practitioner seek to benefit others as part of their own path to enlightenment, compassion and ethical healing. Realizing that it can be cured and following a treatment path, this diagnostic framework encourages careful observation, logical reasoning and practical action, making Buddhist healing not only spiritual but also systematic and rational. Prevention and mindfulness in daily life. Preventing illness is as important as treating it in Buddhist medicine. Mindfulness play a critical role in maintaining health, encouraging individuals to be aware of their action, diet, emotion and environment. Cleanliness, moderation, regular meditation and ethical conduct are seen as preventive measures that keep the mind and body in balance. Living a mindful ethical life is thus not only spiritually beneficial, but also essential for the long term physical health. In the Buddhist medicine, we can understand they focused basically cure of the disease, the discipline of the life, which is very important to be healthy in daily life. The medicine after the disease is just not discussed very elaborately in the Buddhist text, but before how can we keep healthy ourselves, that is elaborately explained in Buddhist text by the meditation, by the proper healthy routine, by the proper food intake, we can keep ourselves healthy by the Buddhist text. Now, Buddhist monastic medicine. In ancient India, Buddhist monasteries gradually developed into important center of healing, blending spiritual practices with medical care. These monastic institutions not only offered shelter and spiritual guidance, but also functioned as early hospitals. Monks were frequently trained in Ayurvedic medicine and local healing traditions, enabling them to treat both monastics and lay people. One of the most renowned figure in Buddhist medical history is Jivak Komarbacha, often referred to as the Buddha's personal physician, who became a legendary symbol of compassionate healing. Monastery infirmaries were well equipped with herbal remedies, medicinal oil, massage tool and even surgical instrument, reflecting a comprehensive approach to health and care. Buddhist therapeutic techniques were diverse and holistic, addressing both the body and the mind. Treatments include herbal medicine in various forms such as decoctions, powders and elixir used to balance body, humorous and treat disease. Aromatherapy and fumigation, dhoop, were practiced to cleanse the purity the environment believed to aid recovery. Dietary guidelines were strictly followed with certain food prescribed or avoided based on the illness. Mental and spiritual health were equally important. Meditation and visualization practices were used to purify the mind, reduce stress and promote healing. This line is very important, that meditation and visualization practice were used to purify the mind, reduce stress and promote healing. The purification of mind is very important to keep ourselves healthy. Just good thought, good day routine and good intake of food, that is the key secret of healthy life, which is again and again explained in Buddhist text. Additionally, the recitation of mantra and sacred text was believed to calm the body and mind, aligning spiritual well-being with physical recovery. Buddhist text and medical content, this is important. What kind of medical content is mentioned in Buddhist text? This is just showing on the slide. Vinay Pitak, Mahavagga Chullavagga, monastic medical rules, treatments, tonic oil rules for tending sick, Jatak tales, biographies of healers, herbal use, Jivak surgeries, herbal treatments, Bhaisaj Guru Sutra, spiritual and physical healing, healing vows, mantra, ritual, Milind Panha, philosophical analogies of medicine, Buddha as a physician, Ashokan edicts, public health hospital, medical care for human and animals. Buddhist medicine and classical Ayurveda. Feature Buddhist medicine and classical Ayurveda. At the time period of Buddhist period, the 6th century BCE, the Ayurveda was also completely flourished at the parallel time. So, the connection between these two medicine is the part of our study as well. Worldwide feature, the Buddhist medicine is based on ethical and spiritual, and the classical Ayurveda is based on natural and philosophical. Core concern, liberation from suffering and restoration of doshic balance. Now, healers, monks, nun, lay followers, Vaidya, physician. Medical setting, monasteries and temples, clinic and universities. Approach, integrative mind karma ethics, empirical Tridosh theory. And the text is Vinay Pitak Sutras, Mahayana treatises, Charak, Sushrut and Vagbhat. The medicine of Charak, Sushrut and Vagbhat we already discussed in our previous classes. Now, introduction to Buddhist medicine. Buddhist medicine in ancient India developed as a unique fusion of empirical healing practices and the ethical spiritual philosophy of Buddhism, rooted in the Buddha's fundamental teaching of dukkha, suffering and its cessation. Buddhist approaches to health emphasizes the integration of physical, mental and karmic well-being. Healing was not merely a clinical task, but a moral and compassionate act, part of a broader pursuit of liberation from suffering. Healing as an ethical and spiritual duty. One of the earliest illustration of the Buddhist view on caregiving comes from the Vinay Pitak. In a famous episode, the Buddha and his attendant Anand personally watched and cared for a neglected sick monk. The Buddha then declared, "Whoever would tend to me should tend to the sick." This proclamation established a foundational ethic in Buddhist monastic communities that tending to the ill was equivalent to serving the Buddha himself. As a result, caregiving became a communal obligation rooted in compassion, karuna and selflessness. Medical knowledge in Buddhist texts. Texts like the Bhaisajya Vastu outline detailed treatment using herbs, mineral and plant based compounds. The Sirvastu describe the life and medical practice of Jivak, highlighting not only his clinical skill, but also the broader Buddhist endorsement of medical education. These work reveal classification of disease guidelines for those and practical uses of natural substance paralleling and at times anticipating classical Ayurvedic knowledge. Jivak Kumar Bacha, the ideal Buddhist physician. Jivak Kumar Bacha, often referred to as the Buddha personal physician, exemplify the Buddhist ideal for a healer. Educated at Takshashila, he trained rigorously for 7 years and was eventually challenged to find any plant in nature that did not have medical value. He failed, demonstrating the Buddhist belief in the universal healing potential of nature. Jivak skills include surgery like corneal operations, diagnosis and gynecological treatments. Buddhist symbolism and ritual in healing. Beyond physical treatment, Mahayana texts like the Bhaisajya Sutra focus on spiritual healing through devotion to the medicine Buddha. Bhaisajya Guru vowed to cure all disease and ease the suffering of the beings through mantras, ethical living and ritual offering healing. In this context, it becomes not only a material concern, but also a spiritual act. These traditions emphasize the recitation of sacred text, visualization practices and offering to gain merit and invoke healing forces. Broader social and historical impact. The integration of medicine into Buddhist life extends beyond texts and monasteries. Emperor Ashok edict refer to state-sponsored medical service including hospital and the planting of medicinal herbs along roadside. This suggests a large-scale application of Buddhist compassion to public health. Moreover, Buddhist medical knowledge spread through travelling monks to regions like Tibet, China and Sri Lanka. In Tibet, it shaped the four tantra of Tibetan medicine, while in China it was absorbed into traditional medicine system via monastic networks. Philosophical and scientific contributions. Although technically aligned with Ayurvedic principle, Buddhist medicine diverged by placing strong emphasis on intent, morality and the mind-body connection. Buddhist thinkers like Nagarjuna later contributed to early Indian alchemy and pharmaceutical science, blending medical knowledge with spiritual liberation. The Buddhist framework treated disease as part of the broader existential suffering and approached health not as an end in itself, but as a support for the path to enlightenment. Now, the transmission and influence beyond India. In Sri Lanka, Theravada monks introduced Buddhist medicine to Anuradhapur, merging Ayurveda with indigenous healing practice. In China, Buddhist monks like Xuanzang and Xing translated Indian medical texts influencing Tang dynasty medical literature. Ragbazi for medical tantra, these foundational texts combine Indian Buddhist philosophy with Tibetan herbal and diagnostic knowledge. Southeast Asia, in Myanmar, Thailand and Laos, traditional medicine adopted Buddhist ethics, meditation and ritual healing practices. So, on the basis of these all explanation, we can understand that Buddhist medicine is basically based on the balance of mind, body and nature and keep ourselves protected with the evil thoughts and the evil eyes. Just think about the pure thoughts, think about the pure ideological exposures and intake good food items. On the basis of this, we can understand that Buddhist medicine in ancient India represented a unique fusion of spiritual wisdom and practical care. It approached healing as a holistic, ethical and compassionate endeavor rooted in the elevation of suffering for all beings. Far from being a secondary concern, medicine was considered a core duty of the monastic community. Its influence reverberated throughout Asia for centuries. As Buddhism spread across the world, so did its healing arts, laying the foundation for Tibetan medicine, East Asian Buddhist healing and even influencing the humanitarian ethics in global healthcare traditions today. If you want to enhance your knowledge on this particular topic, you can consult these references. Thank you for your patient listening. Namaskar.